Look at that bright ass moon making the porch glow. That's so cool. Moon. Look at that moon. It's a moon. Moon. That's cool. I could do that. Fun fact. Moon actually comes from the... Oh, what year was it? I forgot the year. Watched a Vsauce video. I've been watching a lot of Vsauce videos. I don't remember the title. But it was a Vsauce video, and I learned that mooning was from a long time ago and actually started a war. It's funny how mooning's kind of only a guy's thing, because you'd think guys would want to get mooned by girls, but obviously that's the entire idea of mooning, is making fun of them, so girls can't really moon. They can't really do anything, honestly. Because, like, guys' parts are meant to be gross, but girls' parts, if you flashed your tits at a guy, they'd kind of be... Oh, yeah, that reminds you, I made a joke. So it's not the best worded, because I couldn't figure out how to word it well, but what do you call it when a girl flashes a guy to get some free ink? Tit for tat. I don't really know any other word for tattoo. Obviously, if I say tattoo, you can't say part of the answer in the joke, but I don't know why, but there's no other words for tattoo aside from ink, really. That's a bright moon. Baby, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Which is very similar to the song In the Summertime and Big Shot. Very Steel Panty or something. Tropical Beach Bahama. I don't know. There's some theme for it, probably. I'm gonna walk in the road because I want to. Aha. I have walked in the road. That moon is so bright, bro. Okay, so today, procrastinating an ELA assignment. Instead of doing that, sometimes I have ELA assignments so long that I just decide to do the entire week's schoolwork instead of ELA. So I have kind of the whole week to work on ELA. One time I did it so much that I actually did 2 weeks in advance of schoolwork in a few hours. Online school is fun. It'd be cool if you could see the details. I could see the details of the moon. It looks pretty cool. It's pretty fascinating. Oh yeah, so one topic I wanted to talk about was perception. I've talked about perception a lot. It's been my thoughts a lot recently. But I realized descriptive words are kind of ironic. They're meant to describe, right? But we all perceive things differently. I realized I'm watching, of course, a Vsauce video today. And he said the word stuff, or stuffing. No, stuff. And then I thought of the word stuffing. I was like, stuffing. And then I thought of the word stuff as maybe a more volumistic and fluffy word rather than objects, as I initially thought. By definition, it's still set, but it kind of slightly changed my perception of it. And that applies to many, 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 many things. Because people could have had that thought initially before me. They thought of stuff as something more fluffy and volumistic regarding the word stuffing. Meanwhile, I still had the thought of it as more of objects or things. So we perceive that differently, and I could say, that is stuff. And someone could have a more fluffy and volumistic view on it. And this applies to everything. So any word trying to be descriptive is perceived differently by other people, which is very fascinating. Weird. Yeah, perception is reality is a very accurate statement. I've had, a lot of my thought recently has involved perception at some point. It's this new thing that's so prevalent in existence as reality is. Every thought I have is pretty much on reality, aside from the ones where it's about not reality. So, some of them. But a lot of thoughts are in reality because anytime I think about anything, typically it's reality, unless it's thought-based. So, I think about my thoughts a lot too, so I suppose it's primarily not reality. But when I do think about reality, which is still quite frequent, perception is involved because perception is reality. So perception's been my thought recently, and I realized just how important perception is and how much it applies to things. So perception is quite fascinating, honestly. Like I mentioned in my talking in the near dark with an accent video, how everyone is kind of their own main character in their own lives. And gotta realize other people have their lives too. You gotta think of their perspective. They have their life, and it's kind of fun to think what they do on their own time. You know, they live their life. You can imagine instances of it, but they're their whole other person. And I think imagining someone else's life and imagining the fact that they have their own life is not too difficult. But when it comes to imagining the fact that you're a person in their lives, that's weirder. Imagine one of your friends, if you have any, and imagine, okay, so you imagine their life, you imagine what they do, you know what they do. It's like, okay, I can do that. But then imagine the fact that they see you, and they probably perceive you differently than you perceive yourself. They see your physical form, maybe, with their online friend. They see what you say, they think of you in a different light, they don't know everything about you. Some things which you may think, like you send to them, like an emoji, might mean one thing in your opinion, but it means something different in their opinion. There's a lot of things on that. But, they just kind of think differently, and you're this person in their lives, their main character life, and it's kind of strange. It almost puts you in your place, realizing that you're the main character in one life, but you're a side character or non-existent in 8+ billion lives. Wow, that's a thought to process. You are the player in one life, a main character in multiple lives, a side character in a few lives, and non-existent to the rest. That's a thought. It sure is something, isn't it? I just see that little dipper over there. You can't see it because my iPhone can't process tiny as it stars, but interesting. We're all our own main characters with our own side characters on the side and NPCs we don't know about, which is funny because if you think about the people who don't exist, you don't know them exactly, but you can imagine them. You can imagine a population of people in some random ass country like Democratic Republic of Congo or, I don't know, Algeria. They exist, and you can imagine they exist, and if you can generalize what they look like, you can like picture a city of them doing their own things, just kind of, but not real, but based on what you know. In a sense, you are realizing them, but not them. You're realizing an image of them. Okay, that's even creepier. Anytime you picture anyone really that doesn't exist that you know of well, if you picture New York City, all those people, that's based on what you've seen. They don't have exactly. You could imagine their faces if you wanted to, but if you just picture a time lapse of New York City going by, that's just in your head. You don't know them exactly. Those are just people that exist in your head, and they're based on real people, but they don't exist. Oh my god, that's actually really creepy. A ton of people you've imagined do not exist. Oh, that's strange. That is very weird. They don't exist. Yet they're based on people that do exist. They have their lives, and they're important in their own sense. They're the main characters. In fact, you could be one of those people that bases their thoughts on. There's a lot to break down on perspectives there. There's a lot you can go into. But overall, it's trippy as hell. God bless. Hope you enjoyed.